Okay, girls, we've got the guest. We've got the girls, Surfaroo girls. Let's go down to the studio. Let's do it.
Entertainment Plus presents Pete the Surfaroo.
And welcome back to Pete the Surfaroo.
Hi Pete, keep up the good work, you thumping Surfaroo. Bodacious.
Rick, from the fabulous Gold Coast.
Hi Pete the Surfaroo, it's Mark Wahlberg here.
No, I'm not doing television anymore. I'm too old for television. You've got to be 30 and stupid.
James here from New South Wales Fire and Rescue. Guys, catch it. Yeah. Jack Thompson, international Australian film star, mate. It's a pleasure to meet you, mate.
It's great to be here.
Makes you young and trendy now.
Yeah. Tony Bonner, how are you, mate?
Hi Pete, how's it going? I'm an actress from the new film coming out on Thursday, screening at the Gold Coast Film Festival.
All the way from California, it's Elvis. I'm Courtney Atkinson, mate, how are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
Oh, good, mate. Charlene, how are you?
I'm great, how are you?
Good. Something big, huge. We got Michael Jackson here. Famous Gold Coast meter mate.
Hi Pete, how are you?
We've got over 400 reptiles.
How you going there, Jack? A real Aussie animal. Slowly koala bear here.
G'day Pete, I'm Terry Irwin.
And I'm Cindy Owen.
Betty, Frida, Anna, and Bjorn. Abba!
We're here with Chris, the Bondi Bat.
Hi Pete, I'm Tim, I'm 21.
Hi Pete, my name's Rebecca.
Hey guys, we're here with Hilton. We've got Grace Blom. See you next time, guys.
Favourite interview of the night. Cheers, Pete.
Hi Pete, I'm Kerry Ann Kendall.
Heaps of trucks, heaps of adrenaline pumping moments. Oh, it's his real hair.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Look, high five was.
How are you, Pete? You're at the Gold Coast Convention Centre at the Asia Pacific Screen Award.
One of the bikes we're giving away. Guys, we're here with a special Luke Hemsworth. How are you, mates?
Good mate, how are you? Hey Pete the Surfaroo! Where are you? We're getting off here!
Kick back, relax. Right now, Pete's special guests have arrived. Here's Pete's special guest adventures.
Round number 4, Tim Ryan and Gil Clancy live from Atlanta. Atlantic City, Marvin Frazier and Joe Buckner. Between rounds, Joe told Marvin, he said, don't walk in the straight line, move side to side, and move in. He said, when he's still trying, but Frazier will not let up. Frazier, if as we expect, comes to this decision, it will not be diminished because it's against 33-year-old Joe Buckner. This is the second.
Buckner, not surprisingly, with that pole of a left-hand piston punch coming in.
Connor. They're in correct. Hard here. Harder than
Buckner there for not stepping back.
Young man, Joe Buckner. There's no point in being cautious anymore.
Game on the retreat. He said he would end it in the first 5 rounds for sure. And he hasn't got long to go. And the referee's having another close look at it. And again, he's taking the man for the 3rd time St. Nathan to the corner. And I think he's going to stop it. Oh dear, that really does seem a shame. The referee St. Nathan has got a better view of the cut than I have.
Well, he's trying to bring the guard down. No consequence.
Test, because everything Plank has done tonight has been carefully controlled.
And this crowd at a fever pitch of excitement as this triple championship gets underway, and over goes Dunn in the first 6 seconds. One right hand.
A little bit of anticipation as we are close to the ring like this.
Well, in the blue corner tonight, wearing black trunks, weighing in at 118.45 kilograms, hailing from the Gold Coast, Australia. He is the former British, European and Commonwealth and PABA heavyweight champion. He was the youngest heavyweight to turn professional. He's been fighting in the professional ranks for over 20 years. At the age of 48, he has now had 81 fights, 67 victories, 44 wins by the way of fabulous knockouts. Ladies and gentlemen, he went the distance with the great Muhammad Ali. He is the current Australian heavyweight champion, pushing for the ultimate dream, Aussie Joe Buckner.
Sting me quite a bit because I wasn't prepared for that. I wanted to jab and move, but then I caught him with a very good body shot, and I think I may have caught him with a pretty good one to the head. Anyway, he couldn't carry on, so that was it. It was a big surprise for me because I really was prepared to go 12 rounds with him.
WBF heavyweight champion of the world, Aussie Joe Buckner.
Hey guys, and welcome back. We have got a big celeb, Mr. Aussie Joe Buckner. How are you, mate?
Thank you, great.
Go back to your time of boxing, mate. Just to refresh all those young guys and girls out there who don't know the story here. Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, and we've got a list of
Smoking Joe Frazier. I think the wonderful thing about my career, it started out in 1967, way before most of you, 99% of you weren't even born. But I just want to say that my very, very first fight, I got TKO. I lost my first fight with regret and sadness to myself, that is. I thought this could not have happened to me, but it did. So I decided that I wasn't going to quit. I was going to go straight forward. And then after 83 professional fights, you won't believe this, I win the world heavyweight title by bashing a fella called James Bone Crusher Smith. One punch, I hit him so hard, fans, his body fell apart. And I mean that literally. I hit him, I missed his chin by a quarter of an inch. God, I'm happy I did now. His head would have flew off, but it did. I hit him in the shoulder, and his arm flew out of the socket, and it was down by his waist. And I thought to myself, as I'm looking at you now, wow, I'm world heavyweight champion.
Mate, that's fantastic news. Now also, you went the distance with Mr. Ali.
Muhammad Ali was, to me, was and still is one of the greatest athletes of all time. I mean, the reason I say that is because I had the opportunity to fight him on 2 occasions. First time in 1973 in Las Vegas in front of people like Mr. Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis and many others. And then I did so well, then I defended my British, European and Commonwealth titles successfully, continuously. They selected me to fight him for the World Championship in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, in front of 40 or 50,000 people. I didn't count it 1, 2, 3, but a lot of people. And the sad part about my career was that there was always some moron out there who wanted to shoot me, assassinate me. There was this radical Muslim who threatened to shoot me if I should beat Muhammad Ali. And I mean, that was a big task anyway, but I would have done it if I could. But at the end of the day, I came away from there with the thought of, am I going to get shot? And you know, when you're in a position like in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, it's very scary when you're fighting one of the greatest fighters of all time, Muhammad Ali, and you got some moron in the balconies with a telescopic rifle. And the amazing thing about it is that the Malaysian government put throughout the stadium, an open stadium, something like 200 or 300 soldiers with machine guns and God knows what else. So I felt somewhat protected, but how do you protect yourself from a telescopic rifle? But look, the fight went the way I thought it would. Ali won on points, even though I tried very hard to win the world title from him. But you know what the greatest thing? Muhammad Ali in 1975 said, Joe Bugner may have not won the world heavyweight title by beating me, he said, but he will be one day world champion. And he was right. Well, it took a long time.
Mate, that's a really good thing from Muhammad Ali to say for a boxer, because he didn't have too much respect for all the other boxers, mate.
Muhammad Ali was very open-mouthed when it came to stressing or pressing his opinion onto other people.
Yep.
But I think at the end of the day, I think one of the most incredible things that we face when we looked at Muhammad Ali was the talent. He had this talent that no other boxer, athlete could compare with. Muhammad Ali was the promoter's dream. He was able to sell tickets with a blink of an eye because people loved him. He had that cheeky smile and he would smile at you and you just say, he's such a lovely guy. How can he be a fighter?
Just to let all those Hungarians know out there, where's your background from, mate?
In 1956, when the Russians invaded Hungary, my mother, a single parent, decided that she says she's not going to be controlled or ruled by any government, especially a communist one. So she packed up her little briefcase only with her birth certificates and da-da-da-da-da, and she grabbed her children under the armpit on the bus straight to the borderline where my grandfather used to live, and we walked from Hungary to Yugoslavia. So in 1956, I was 6 years old. We went to England, thank God, and that's where it all started. I took out James Bond Crusher Smith with one shot in the first round. The fans were disappointed. Did I care? No.
Mate, it's a great pleasure to speak with a legend.
The undefeated world heavyweight champion Australia ever had.
Mate, that's it. Okay. See you guys. Thanks, mate. Thank you.
What is that?
Coming soon.
Entertainment Plus presents Pete the Surfaroo. Welcome everybody. What you're about to see is a real true blue Australian family viewing visual series with interviews, fun-packed light-hearted humour, learning experiences, and it's all full of laughs. Unbelievable interviews and stories, spills, energy and adrenaline pumping, featuring sports, celebs, health, renos, competitions, great locations, heaps of nature and wildlife, detective stories, special events and heaps more.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Pete the Surfaroo. We're here with Luke and Aisha.
one of Australia's largest reptile parks. Luke, how are you, mate?
Morning, Pete. Thanks for coming and visiting the reptiles.
No worries, mate. Aisha, hello, how are you?
Good.
Now, we're going to wander inside, mate, and check out a large variety of reptiles. Now, just briefly, mate, what are we looking at seeing here today?
We've got over 60 different species of native Australian reptile. We've actually got the deadly dozen, so 12 of the world's most venomous snakes.
Mate, sounds good. Now, before we go into, can we just go back into the history? When did you first get into reptiles, mate?
Well, as far back as I can remember, I was chasing lizards and frogs and stuff around, but at the age of 5 I got my first reptile licence and started collecting snakes.
Mate, that is incredible. Mate, let's go inside and check out some of these snakes, and lots more questions coming your way. Let's go, guys. Okay, guys, we're here inside the reptile park. Lots to see. Now, let's start with the world's most deadliest snakes. Luke, number 1.
Number 1 is the one right behind us here, the inland taipan, also called a fierce snake. So drop for drop, it's more toxic than any other snake on the planet. But funnily enough, has never ever caused one single death that we know of so far. So the main reason is in an isolated area, and he's very shy and secretive. Like most snakes, they will try and get out of our way if we give them the chance. But this one doesn't come in contact with people very often at all.
Mate, now, where is this snake found?
Well, you find him on the border of Northern Territory, New South Wales and also South Australia. So he's right inland, out in the black soil country. So like the picture back there, he lives in the deep cracking black soil in far remote Australia.
Now, have we had any major bites with these snakes?
The only people ever been recorded to have been bitten were snake catchers, and they knew what to do. They knew the first aid which saved their life.
Mate, well, it's great news that they're not in our big cities.
Yes, that's definitely right.
Now, mate, let's move on to number 2.
So number 2 over here is the eastern brown snake, and that's the most commonly encountered snake here in Australia. They do live around us, so they're responsible for the most amount of deaths in Australia each year.
Okay, Luke, number 3 for the snakes?
Number 3 in the world is the coastal taipan. He's found around the coastline up in the Northern Territory and extends the whole way down the Queensland coast, down to around Grafton in New South Wales.
Now, do they tend to wander into backyards of houses, or are they just found out in the bush?
Well, he's quite an alert snake, and he'll usually try and avoid confrontation. He lives more in a rural urban fringe, so sort of in the outskirts of populated areas, not so much in big, large CBDs.
And attacks with these guys?
There has been a number of recorded deaths from the coastal taipan. A bite from one, it definitely means an extreme medical emergency.
Mate, now later on we'll go into treatment of a bite snake, but let's go on to number 4.
Number 4 is the tiger snake. Now, he struck fear into the hearts of the early settlers because he's found around the southeastern part of Australia where we first colonised. So he did cause a lot of deaths and a lot of fear back in the early days. Since the introduction of anti-venom, the number of deaths has definitely curved back down again.
Now, an easy way to distinguish a tiger snake, is it like the word tiger, so is he striped?
No, not all tiger snakes will have stripes. Some can come in a jet black colour. Some can have all different colour banding. They're actually found all throughout the Bass Strait and different islands around Tasmania. And there's also another isolated population over in southwestern Australia.
Now, just lengthwise, what's the average size? Because a lot of people do mistake sometimes pythons for these sort of snakes, and they pick them up and bang.
Well, the average length for a tiger snake would probably be around 1.5 metres, but they can get up to around 2.5 metres long.
That's big. Well, number 5 now.
Number 5 is the death adder. He's found right over mainland Australia. He'll inhabit most environments, deserts, rainforests, and also come in a variation of different colours too. But he doesn't really like to live around backyards. He likes to live in undisturbed bushland. So it's not really one you're going to find coming into your property unless you do live out in the country.
Now, if we do go out fossicking or going in the rainforest, like Springbrook on the Gold Coast here, can we find them out there?
Yes, you will. You'll find a lot of these top 12 most venomous snakes around the Gold Coast. Now, a lot of the time, they only come out at night. So just be a little bit extra careful if you're walking around after dark. They usually come out just after the sun goes down.
Okay, moving up the ladder, number 6.
Number 6 is the western brown snake. Now, he doesn't occur here on the east coast of Australia. He's found quite widespread through central Australia over to the west coast. Now, over around Perth and WA and places over on the western side of Australia, he has caused many deaths.
And up the ladder to number 7.
Number 7 is the copperhead. There's a few different species of copperhead. The largest one being the lowlands copperhead, which is found around Melbourne area. So if you live in Melbourne, guys, you will get lots of copperheads. So he extends up to New South Wales.
Now, what's the usual size for one of these guys, or both the guys?
Usually a metre long individual is average size for an adult, but they can get a fair bit bigger. They can get up to about $1.70 m. Most snakes will eat a variety of different food, including mammals, so they'll also eat frogs and birds. A lot of reptiles will actually eat other reptiles. Yeah, so they can feed off each other. They might even eat their own kind.
That's amazing.
The king browns, also called mulga snakes. Okay, they're found over most of Australia. They like to live where it's really hot and dry, but you actually don't get these on the Gold Coast. Now, they can actually grow right up to a whopping 3 metres long. Okay, so like we said, he's the largest and heaviest venomous snake we have here in our country. Okay, now also one thing you'll notice with him, in his big, huge head, that's his massive venom glands. Now, most snakes, will only inject around 2 or 3 mils of venom. This one here is different if he bites. He holds on, he doesn't let go. Okay, he'll inject up to 16 mils. So he can inject more venom than any other snake on the planet.
Okay, number 9.
Number 9 is the Stevens banded snake, which is found around here on the Gold Coast. He lives in more tropical environments, and he's a tree climber. So, which is funny enough that venomous snakes can climb trees.
I think I'd stay away from the guy. Now, his poison is pretty bad?
Yes, it is very toxic. Very complex venom. Can have some very bad adverse effects.
And we have antidote for this fella?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we have anti-venom for all Australian snakes. As long as you apply the correct first aid and get to hospital in time, your chance of death from a snake is very low.
Wow. Okay, number 10.
Number 10, we've got the rough-scaled snake. Now, rough-scaled snakes are also very common here in southeast Queensland. They're a frog eater, so they'll usually live around the riparian zone. That's just a little around the water's edge in the vicinity of permanent creeks or dams. Okay, he's also another night active snake, so he'll come out after dark, particularly when it's raining, to look to feed off frogs.
And the size of this one?
He's not a real big snake. He'll only get to about 1 metre long. Usually about 80 centimetres is a very big individual. So the next snake we're getting out here, guys, is number 5 in the world. Okay, now if you got bitten by him, back in the old days, there was no anti-venom available. Back then it was certain death. So they've called him, he's the death adder. Now the death adders, they're very short and fat. Okay, they don't actually grow much bigger than this bloke right here. But don't let his size fool you, he's got a very powerful venom. More venomous than the king cobra, the black mamba, and the rattlesnake combined. Okay, he outranks them by far. Okay, now we use 2 hooks for the death adder, the reason being he's the world's fastest striking snake, this one. He strikes out at over 300 kilometres an hour. Okay, in the wild they're very hidden and they're camouflaged. Often people tread on them by mistake. So doing bushwalking, guys, especially after dark, because that's when he comes out, he's nocturnal. Okay, make sure you've got enclosed shoes when you're walking around your campsite. Doing bushwalking, have some good protective footwear on, because our thongs won't do you much good with this one. So we're going to move up the ladder, guys, to number 2 in the world. Okay, now if you encounter a snake out there, it's more than likely going to be this one here. It's the most commonly encountered snake in Australia, is our eastern or common brown. Okay, they're found around all major cities. You'll find them around Brisbane and Melbourne, Adelaide, even Canberra and Sydney. Okay, you get lots of these coming into populated areas, around backyards, We're now getting a lot of these down along our Gold Coast beaches. These are responsible for more bites and deaths each year than any species of Australian snake. Okay, now they can be very fast and accurate, so definitely one you want to stay a safe distance away from. Okay, they do vary in colour. They can come very dark, almost black like this specimen here. Now brown snakes, guys, can even have stripes. So not all brown snakes are brown, and as we mentioned, not all tiger snakes have stripes. So you're best to treat all snakes you see as venomous, just to be safe. Okay, if you leave them alone, okay, they'll do the same thing for you. So you might have seen us guys travelling around Australia, as we do, go at all the major events teaching vital awareness. This here, snakebite treatment, is the most important thing that we're able to teach the public. Okay, now so we're opened every weekend here at Carrara Markets, and we're actually now going to launch 7 days, and we'd like to teach all the public must know this snakebite first aid. Okay, it's a very simple and effective method. Okay, so we're just going to pretend he has been bitten somewhere along the arm. Now it doesn't matter where you're bitten. You want to start this pressure bandage from the bottom and go to the top, keeping it like you would a sprained wrist. It's got to be firm but comfortable. Okay, now what will actually happen, the pressure will squeeze down and shut off the capillaries, flatten them down, so that venom can no longer travel. Okay, instead of getting around half an hour to live, a bandage applied, okay, we'll give you up around 24 hours. It'll give you the time you need to get to hospital and have that anti-venom. Okay, now there is anti-venom at every hospital now. Okay, you just want to give yourself that time to get there by putting pressure on the limb and then immobilising it. It's important, once the arm is bandaged, to put it into a sling, okay, and lay nice and still. Okay, now if the leg was bitten, once you've bandaged up that leg, what you need to do is grab a rigid object, a tree branch or a golf club, or just roll up a newspaper and just tie it to your leg. Okay, that'll keep that leg nice and straight. Okay, if you do this within 3 minutes, it is very, very effective. It has saved many lives so far. One thing that everyone died from snakebite last year, we had 6 deaths recorded last year. They had one thing in common: they didn't have that little simple bandage with them. So it's something everyone should carry in the glove box of your car, okay, just to be safe. Okay, it's a good idea to always take them out camping, fishing, or stick one in your golf bag. Now the last thing we'll show you is don't wash the bite area. At hospital, they peel it back and take a little swab. They can actually identify the venom left on your skin and find out what snake bit you, so what anti-venom to treat you with. So it's no longer like the old days where we had to catch the snake and take it to hospital. So yeah, don't turn up to the hospital with the offending snake, guys. Okay, they can actually identify it when you get there.
Okay, Mr. Luke, hit it. Let's do this snake.
This one here, guys, is Cody, our beautiful black-headed python. They're one of the friendliest snakes of all. We take them to kindies and schools and stuff, so little kids can hold him. So he's very well trained. You don't have to worry, Pete. We wouldn't put a body snake on you. So all you have to do to hold him is keep your hands flat and still.
Okay.
He just wants us to be supported underneath.
No worries.
How's that feel? They feel incredible, their skin. Just really
wow,
soft.
Really amazing stuff. Now these animals are known to constrict, eh?
Yeah, if they want to kill something, what they do is they get it right up and around their neck, start
Holy
to
mollies.
But these ones won't. They're very, very well trained. I've had this one for 16 years, and I've held him every day of his life.
That's amazing.
I've even put him on little kids.
Okay, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed that experience and learned a lot too. Luke, Ash, thanks a lot for having us down here at the reptile park, and it was a great experience with the python as well and all those reptiles.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks for coming along.
No worries. Until next time with some more stuff from here in Australia on the Gold Coast, it's Pete the Surfaroo signing off here now. Whoa.
Well, it's that time again to say goodbye from Pete the Surfaroo and his team. Until we meet again, check it out.